That's George Washington Carver. But this isn't about him. This is going to be a video to show you how your Indian cultural things that you do are still around today. Ours. Okay? Because I'm tired of these Africans and everybody else is saying your culture doesn't even exist, and what you all tell me what all of you do still today. What's continued? Well, I've read the books compared to everybody else. And I'm about to show you several book excerpts that show you what exactly your cultural things were. Okay, so this particular page is about the history of the Chickasaw, Natchez, and Choctaw. It says that the doctors made use of herbs and roots in various forms applied and given in different modes for made for emetics, and I'm guessing because they say the YT people use emetics or medications. We were using herbs and roots, right? They gave it for cathartic, sweats, wounds, and sores. They also, by means of burning and punk or whatever. It says here that they also use some enchantment and other practices of magic and things of that nature, but herbs and roots and other practices. That could be like what you all do today with your crystals and chakras and stuff like that, right? Frequency healing. All of those things would seem like magic to these folks and enchantment. Over here in a book about the Spanish settlements, it talks about how they use herbs and drugs to cure all kind of sicknesses and diseases. Talking about the Indians and the Spanish settlements down there in the Florida, or basically the entire South. I have a few books that I'm gonna do some chat GPT translating for you, but here you see herbs medicinales, que un la fa, whatever, okay? Talking about the savages, we're gonna translate. There are many medicinal herbs that do not exist in Europe, whose effects is infallible according to the experience of the natives, who use them daily to heal all kinds of wounds, to treat this and that, and tertiary and whatever, and fevers and pulls and whatever, and kidney pain and all these other things. This is another book that I translated, so a completely different book. They know many herbs to cure diseases and wounds. With one called buhai, whatever, they purge the bile and whatever is harmful in the stomach of the body. It is very well common and very healthy, and blah, blah, blah. They keep going. So that's why I started off with Carver, because Carver was a genius in plants and herbs, okay? More than just a peanut. You had your Sabies. We've had our Dr. Leala Africas. We also got our Yakis, okay? Now, you can't find a bunch of people who are kind of famously known or really just out there prominently in the native Siberian community, right? That's out there as popular utilizing roots and herbs like that. That's a credit for our people, our culture. Let's move on to another trait in your culture. It says that the Indians, this is the Creek Indian history, it says that none of them have any system of writing, even though they did, but they preserve traditions of great antiquity in rhymes and chants. Dancing and physical exercises are held in honor and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so rhymes and chants. Well, there's no question. We know who preserves things in rhymes and chants. We know who are the best in rhyming and chanting. And it definitely isn't this guy. It also definitely, for sure, definitely, isn't your $5 Siberians. You don't even see them around in rap. This one here is another one talking about the history of the Indians. These are, I think, in the Choctaw area or whatever, but you got dancing constituted another amusement of various Indian tribes, but unlike those of civilized people, their dances were all characteristic. Thus, their war dances represented the actions of war. They brandished their weapons. They're dancing to music, brandishing their weapons. Have you ever seen that before? Anybody ever seen that before in music videos? All the time. Right above that, the Indians gambled to the greatest excess. They staked furniture, tools, clothes, and even their liberty on the hazards of the game with the madness and folly that characterized blah, blah, blah. How long have y'all been shooting dice? Because I know we've all done it. In fact, when I was in middle school, I knew how to do backdoor Little Joe with the dice. Who taught me how to do that? Coming in here, we got another book, completely different book, but I had to translate it. It was in either Latin or Paleo Spanish. The Warrior Indians, those of bravery and standing comparable to the captains, distinguished themselves from others by painting or tattooing their bodies. They introduced the colors into the skin, a process called pinguiamiento or whatever, since it is done by pricking the flesh. According to the number of their feet, they would do either their arms or other things and other things. So they were tattooing their bodies. Who has been doing that forever? Now, yes, you can pretty much give credit to a lot. Everybody does it now to a degree, but you can see this going back far, far, far long ago. And our people typically do it all the time. Same photograph, but notice the wannabes will try to do it a little bit, but it just don't look the right. It just don't look right. But also, these are their Chippewa Indians, and they were depicted with tattoos on their faces and stuff as well, as you can see there. This is the actual photograph of one of them. But you know another characteristic? This comes from the history of Hernando de Soto. I done hit you with at least about 8 or 9 books. But it says, they drink only water. They eat their meat well cooked. And if you're trying to understand what they mean by that, they said their fruit neatly ripe, their fish well roasted, and ridicule the Spaniards who used them otherwise. So the Spaniards would not eat their meats well done, right? You know, they like to eat their raw stuff. I just seen a video of somebody on Twitter eating something like this. Yeah, you see that right? Raw beef, and then they throw some onions and some seasonings on top, which ain't nothing but some pepper. Yeah, we would ridicule them for doing otherwise. Now, that was German, but the Spaniards likely did the same. But again, it's our culture to say, cook that motherfucker all the way through. This book, which is very old, goes into talking about the use of the word mama and how the Indians are the only one that continue using the word mama well after the years of people modifying it from their years of being taught to modify it to something like mom or mother. Now, we all know that we're the ones that call our moms Big Mama. You know what I'm saying? Grandma, some of us, not all of us. I didn't call mine's Big Mama, but we know that that's a big thing in the community, but we all call our moms Mama. I have my mom saved. I just call her Mom. I'll probably say Mom like if I'm talking about her in person, but typically when I'm talking to her directly, it's Mama. And in my phone, it's saved as Mama. And don't forget, we have Big Mama's house. We know, you've seen that from a native Siberian. It also talks about, hey, at burials and just other times too, we would blow smoke of herbs into the noses of the mourners. And they say that this gives them health and then they talk about shaving their heads or something for grieving something. We don't do that no more, but definitely, smoking them herbs. The men and women sing and dance. The men shoot arrows into the air, and the women with the chanting songs answer them in sacrifices or whatever. You know how people do during any time of the year, the celebrations and the holidays. You gotta aim your gun at the sky. Same thing here. So yeah, our culture has consistently been the same since we've been Indians, all the way up until present time. And in fact, they probably slowed us down because we was on that old world shit pretty tough. But either way, without getting too deep on that, I showed you at least a good 8, 9, 10, or however many traits that were Indian traits from many different voyagers, and all of those books were from like 1500s, 1600s, maybe 1700s. Like, none of these books are 1900s and shit like that. So you can bank on it that these people are telling more truth than that McGraw-Hill bullshit y'all been listening or reading or listening to.